Okay. Hello, good afternoon. You are all very welcome to this live session. Thank you for joining in. Okay, so today we talk about, as you've seen the description, focus in practice. My name is Jacinta. Build Beyond You is the platform. This is a space where we rediscover our identities, build our human blueprint, and step into our true leadership authority. And our theme this week has been focus versus distractions. Okay. Now, this platform, Build Beyond You, as you can hear the word, Build Beyond You, is about continuity, impact. What do you want to leave behind when you're long gone? It's about the generations after you. It's about your children, your children's children. It's beyond you. But we first build inwardly before we start building outside. So if you feel successful outwardly, but disconnected inwardly, this is for you. If you keep repeating patterns that you want to outgrow, this is for you. If you're a leader, a business person, a professional, and you need clarity in this journey of leadership, this is for you. And if you want to focus and you don't want noise, this is for you. Are you ready to rebuild from the inside first before you go outside to build whatever we build in our workplaces, as professionals, as business people, our businesses, as builders of the kingdom, ministry? So we want to learn how to focus, or we want to continue being guided on how we ensure we focus, we have clarity and continuity over burnout. That is what Build Beyond You is all about. Once again, my name is Jacinta, and you're very welcome to this platform. You're very welcome. Thank you for joining me today. Thank you for the time that you have set out. I don't take that for granted. And today, we're going to focus. We have moved from understanding to application. The first weeks, we have been really looking at knowledge, gaining knowledge, information. How do we break cycles? Now we want to be very intentional as we break the cycles. How do we break cycles? Through disciplined attention. Okay? First of all, today we want to confront one of the greatest thieves, and that is urgency. When when we look at focus versus urgency, okay, what is focus? First of all, I've been talking about focus. Focus is basically alignment. Okay, are your values, your character, your identity, your choices, your decisions, are they all aligned? Are they matching? You may be speaking, but does it match your actions? Do you take responsibility for your actions? Are you accountable for your life and for everything that happens in your day to day? Okay. And one of the thieves of focus, of that alignment, that bring about misalignment, which is one of the topics that we talked about earlier, is urgency. Urgency is a thief of focus. Okay? Urgency feels important. It feels it focuses on distracting you from your focus, where you're headed, the direction that you're taking. Whatever is urgent, you need to look at it. Sometimes it may be genuinely something you need to attend to urgently, but then you also have to look at it very critically. Is it a distraction, or is it genuinely something urgent that you need to attend to? Because urgency is the one that pushes us to react instead of proactively thinking about things and then attending to them. Okay? And focus is very direct. And the difference between focus and urgency is that focus is direct and urgency reacts. Okay? So, there are some things that come to us very urgently without even priority. You've not prioritized it and it's coming in. What exactly is it trying to do? Because it will demand your attention. Okay, whatever it is that is very urgent will demand your attention. Maybe you have been focusing on achieving a certain goal or carrying out a certain activity or task, and something urgent comes in. Okay, how do you deal with this? Because sometimes urgency can keep you busy and take you away from focus. Meanwhile, you are losing time on the other side. Okay? While focus is supposed to move you forward, urgency wants to keep you very busy doing things that you're not supposed to be doing in that particular time. So, question is, why does urgency feel very powerful? Urgency gives you an illusion of productivity because you are actually doing something. You are actually attending to something very urgent. So you think you are being productive, but ask yourself a question. Is it in line with what I set out to do? And yesterday we dealt with, I gave you an assignment. I gave you 48 hours or 24 hours if you fast to look at one area, focus on one area, get a discipline that you can actually use to focus on that particular area in your life. Prioritize it that you feel, and you even have evidence you do no longer have authority and power over. That is how you begin to break cycles intentionally with attention, by focusing on what exactly is it that is taking away my time from what I have set out to do. What is intentionally wanting to interfere with the natural flow of things, with the natural rhythm of what exactly I am set out to do. And we have been talking about resistance. If you do not have resistance in your journey, as you journey, as you carry out your activities, then there's something you need to check. Okay? Because everything that is important will actually receive resistance. Left, right, and center, you will actually receive resistance. So when resistance comes, it is how you respond. When resistance comes and you respond by withdrawing or relapsing, which is one of the topics we talked about earlier. Why do we relapse? Okay? And you withdraw, you relapse, you actually take your focus away from what you intended to do, then there's something that is going wrong. And you need to go back to the drawing board and say, what is it that is taking me away from what I am supposed to be doing? Okay? It's very, very important that urgency that is giving you an illusion of productivity, you go back and look at it clearly. First of all, urgency will reward your reaction to it. It's not urgent, but you have reacted to it, so it will give you a reward. So it will give you an illusion that there's actually productivity there. But remember, it's not your intention, but it's rewarding you because you've given it attention. So it's rewarding you with productivity, with an illusion of productivity when that actually isn't in existence. And most of us feel productive but remain unchanged. And you need to ask yourself, why don't I see a difference between me at this point in my life when I have labored for probably so many days or hours or months or years? Why do I remain unchanged? Could it be that you are being very productive or very busy in distraction, attending to what you're not supposed to be attending to? Have you been driven away from your assignment and you're actually performing duties that are not yours? You may even be doing them very well. Now, you need to ask yourself how urgency sustains these negative cycles or negative behavioral patterns or any cycles that you know very well are not supposed to be part of your journey. Urgency keeps you reacting. Urgency prevents you from reflecting. Remember, now everything is very urgent. You don't even have time to sit down and reflect. Whereas focus, on the other hand, requires stillness. I gave you a graph yesterday and I told you focus without effort gives you clarity. Why? Because that is the time when you sit down and you look at exactly what you need to do. Pay attention and make sure you are very clear on the steps that you're going to take, on the activities you're going to carry out, on the tasks you're going to perform. And then after that, you're going to be able to say, I have set out my map. It's drawn out very well. Now, what do I need to do? I need to focus on achieving what I have set out to do. And there comes the thief, urgency. And like I said, it gives you an illusion of productivity. You'll still find yourself being very productive in what has come to you. And now that's a detour away from the right path that you're taking. So you see how you remain in repetitive cycles of delay, repetitive cycles of backwardness, repetitive cycle of not moving forward. Some of these things are very, very practical. And we have to learn how to sit down and name them and not always think the devil is fighting me, this and that is happening to me. Sometimes it's self-sabotage. When you don't pay attention to yourself, you sabotage yourself. Okay? So sometimes you need to go back to the drawing board, or you need to be knowledgeable about what exactly is distracting me. If you pay attention, if you just pay attention to how these repetitive cycles are coming in play, then it will be even much easier. Okay? So, not everything that demands your attention deserves your attention. Okay? So pay attention to what is coming to you. Urgency can come in form of emotional pressure. Sometimes it's like emotional blackmail and it's becoming as if urgent. And what exactly is it doing? It's a detour from your focus. Okay? Whereas focus is very intentional. It's intentional direction. You know exactly what you have mapped out to do, and you are intentionally moving in the direction that you are supposed to be moving in. Okay? Busy does not equate to progress. That's the one thing I want you to really focus on. Busy does not equate to progress. So cycles break when reaction stops. The moment you stop reacting, the cycles are going to break. The moment you start focusing and stop the reactive self or the reactive patterns or reactively dealing with different situations that come to you, you're going to break all these negative cycles. Okay? So if you don't choose focus, urgency will choose for you. And that's the honest truth. So let's look at the next part. Now, here we're going to have a reflective exercise. Okay? We're going to look at discomfort and avoidance. These two words, they have a lot to do with your emotions. Discomfort, avoidance. Okay? What we need to expose, this is an emotional exposure session. Okay? So I need you to do some reflections as I speak. Discomfort and avoidance. Discomfort may not be the problem, but avoidance is a very major problem. Okay, let's get down to the as simple as what is discomfort. Let's look at a dictionary description of discomfort. What does discomfort mean? It's the patient complaint or discomfort in the left calf. Okay, this was a statement, sorry. Discomfort is slight pain. Okay, discomfort is making someone feel uneasy, anxious, or embarrassed. That's emotional. Okay, remember I've told you we're going to carry out an emotional exercise. Okay, that is what this part of the session is all about. So you've understood what discomfort is. It's slight pain. It's making someone feel uneasy. Okay, then let's look at avoidance. What is avoidance? Avoidance is the act of keeping away from people, situations, thoughts, or feelings that cause discomfort, fear, or stress, acting as a coping mechanism to prevent negative emotions, but often worsening problems long term. And it's seen in behaviors from procrastination to social withdrawal, and is a key feature in conditions like anxiety disorders and avoidant personality disorder. Okay? Now that gives you a very clear understanding of what avoidance is and what discomfort is. Discomfort is a slight pain and it's not the problem. Avoidance is because when you avoid, for example, pain comes to you and you avoid the pain, sometimes you need to go through that fire because there's something it's going to birth out of you. It's going to birth an ability that you may not even have known, okay? A solution to a problem from you. It may birth resilience, it may birth endurance, it births some of these positive traits that we admire in people. And we're like, wow, I wish I could be like her. Sometimes it comes to you and you avoid it when it wants to actually birth that. Or it could be one of the ways that exposes weaknesses in you. So avoiding the pain, avoiding some of these situations, these environments, these experiences, and some individuals who come to you when God has actually sent them to pinch you so that he exposes weaknesses in you. The ones that we call enemies are actually, the Bible says they are a footstool. He will watch as I make them your footstool. What does he mean? He allows them to come to you so that they can expose your weaknesses, okay? So that they can expose your weaknesses. It's important that your weaknesses are exposed to you. And so are the solutions that are embedded in you. Those solutions, your abilities, they need to come out. So sometimes don't chase away the multitude. When the disciples saw the multitude, they were like, now we need Jesus, let's send them away. Let's send them away. Let them go to town, get bread, have something to eat, and then they come back and we go on with the session. And Jesus was like, no, we're not going to send them away. Now the multitude was the problem. The multitude was the problem for the disciples. In their eyes at that particular time, they were the problem. But they were actually not the problem. They were the problem, the disciples. The fear of how am I going to handle this overcame them. That they were like, let's send them away. Did they believe in Jesus? Yes, they did. But they did send them, they did want to send them away, knowing that Jesus could actually carry out a miracle and multiply the bread and the fish later in the story. Okay? So they were trying to avoid what they looked at as a problem. But he said, no, let them say. And there were so many lessons to learn after Jesus said, no, we're not going to chase the multitude away. They are going to stay. Okay? And then he taught them something from them staying. He taught them systems and structures because after they had eaten, there was a lot of leftovers. They collected the bread, they collected the leftovers, and he was teaching them that those were systems. He was teaching them now, gather them in groups of 50. All those were lessons that they were learning in the process of the multitude coming. And they were chasing away the lessons, but they did not know. So sometimes it's because of our ignorance that we find ourselves making the decisions that we make, that we find ourselves doing the things that we do. Okay? So it's very important for you not to avoid whatever situation you may find yourself in. Sit in it and say, what is the lesson that this situation or experience that I am going through, what am I learning here? Don't avoid the pain. It's not always going to be a smooth road, especially when you are a leader. These challenges are going to come up to you. And we keep listening to the different people that God sends to us so that we keep encouraging ourselves along the journey, because there are these particular areas of our lives are lonely areas. Entrepreneurship is lonely, leadership is lonely, CEOs are lonely, professionals are lonely, leaders are lonely in the positions where they are. It's lonely sometimes. So when we have some of these lessons to learn from, yeah, we pick ourselves up, but don't avoid the problem, because discomfort is not the problem. That slight pain is not the problem. It's the you avoiding it. There's things that God wants, always speaks to you in these moments of pain. How about you change your mindset in that particular time when you're going through the pain and say, God, what is it that you're trying to tell me? When you do that, it's going to make things so much easier for you. Now, growth always introduces discomfort. That slight pain that we've talked about. So as you're growing, discomfort is going to come, and there's no way around it. It has to come. But that when you avoid the pain, you are trying to protect the old patterns, the old cycles. So when they say that the new is here, the old is gone, your natural self, your flesh, is because you're so used to the familiar old patterns, old ways of doing things, old thinking patterns, you'll find yourself delving more or wanting to go back or relapsing. Why? Because it's comfortable there, it's safe there, it knows you. But then think about it. How else are you going to grow from where you are? If you avoid, you will be stuck and you will protect the same cycles that you want to break. Okay? So, why does focus create discomfort? Have you ever asked yourself that question? Because focus forces you to be honest. No, sometimes we don't want to be honest. Sometimes we experience things in our life that we don't want to be honest about. And focus is going to force you to be honest. It removes distractions that numb discomfort. Whenever you focus, whenever you are aligned, whenever things are matching the decisions that you're making, your actions, things are moving on very well, distractions are going to fall off one by one, one by one. And discomfort is going to be numbed. Before you know it, you won't be feeling that discomfort anymore. So, like I said, we are moving from understanding to application. You need to apply focus for you to be able to reduce on the distractions, for you to be able to numb the discomfort that always wants to come in. But you also have to make a decision not to avoid the pain that comes to you along the way in this journey of leadership. Now, how does avoidance show up? How does it work? Yeah. Avoidance shows up, I said earlier, when you procrastinate, when you overthink, when you overwork, when there's constant stimulation. Those areas that I have talked about, they keep the cycles alive. You want to break the cycles, but you're overthinking. You want to break the cycles, but you're procrastinating. You want to break the cycles, but you're overworking. You want to break the cycles, but there's constant stimulation. So, how are we going to break these cycles? Let us not avoid. Let us face whatever it is that comes to us. Don't avoid the pain. Go through it. There's a lesson behind the pain. There's something God wants to birth out of you. It is what they call the process. So when we hear about the process, what exactly do you think happens in the process? The things that I am talking about on a daily is what process is all about. So why do people choose avoidance? Avoidance feels safer than discipline. I'd rather avoid than be disciplined. Whereas discipline, you know it very well that discipline is actually going to take out things in you that don't serve your journey. Discipline is going to add a lot of value to you. You're going to start prioritizing, you're going to focus on the areas that you had lost power and authority, okay? And you're going to take back your authority and power in those areas because there are disciplines that you have decided to apply. For example, you have come to this session, you're listening, and you are going to come from understanding to applying some of these areas that serve you and the journey that you are in. So people choose avoidance because they feel safer than to be disciplined, than to apply all these disciplines that we need to apply. Say you have been having issues with time management and you're always late here and there. Now you have to learn the discipline of keeping time. If it's 4 o'clock and I've said I'm going to be on the platform, I have to log on at 4 o'clock. I have to be in time in the station where I need to be so that I log on time. Comfort feels easier than growth. Most of us want to be comfortable. That's the honest truth, especially when everything is going on well. Yeah? You prefer to be comfortable because growth is going to trigger discomfort. It's going to stretch your core. It's going to stretch your mind. It's going to come with resistance. So you'd rather be comfortable and be safe than step into unknown spaces. God is telling you, take this direction. You are avoiding that direction because it comes with resistance. It has giants on its way. There are adversaries on each and every level. So you're like, I want my peace. I want to be comfortable. We all want our peace, but there's a point in your life, especially when you are a leader, where you have to put comfort aside just for a while. Go through the discomfort, go through the pain, expose anything that needs to get out of the way, and birth. Birth what has been placed in you. There's so many destinies that are waiting for you, that are attached to you, that if you don't open that door, so many people won't be able to step into their true leadership authority until you step into your true leadership authority. So what do we learn from avoidance and discomfort? Because you've understood that discomfort is not the problem, avoidance is the problem. Discomfort is evidence that growth is happening. Every time there's discomfort, that means there's growth that is happening. Every time there's a slight pain, there's growth. If there's no pain, if there's no resistance, and it's just there, then there's no growth. So it will come. And that is your signal, that is your evidence that you are growing. You are outgrowing past seasons, past levels, mediocre levels. You are evolving and growing into the next level, the next season. Discomfort is your evidence. So don't chase it away. Don't avoid going through the fires. Don't avoid the process when it presents itself to you. Now, I want you to reflect. What are you avoiding by staying distracted? Because every time you avoid this, there's a distraction that you're entertaining. What is it that you are avoiding? What discomfort would you face if you stayed focused? I mean, who wakes up in the morning and chooses pain so that they can remain focused? It takes sacrifice. It takes sacrifice. It takes sacrifice. So, discomfort is going to reveal. I want you to go away with this one in this particular session as we enter into the last bit of this whole session today. What I want you to take away from avoidance and discomfort is that discomfort is going to reveal the growth area, your growth areas. You need to also sit down and pay attention to what areas in my life are changing, are shifting, are growing. This discomfort is revealing. I need to pay attention to those areas. Are you growing in terms of family? Are you growing in terms of your mindset? Are you growing? Are you shifting seasons? Are you transitioning from one season to another? What exactly is happening in your life? Why is this discomfort there? You need to pay attention to the growth areas in your life that are triggering the discomfort, the slight pain that you're feeling. Okay? When you pay attention to those growth areas, it will now give you the strategy for the next level. Then it will open up your mind to even be creative and innovative, to think of, okay, what do I do next? This area is actually growing. I'm experiencing this discomfort because this area is growing. So what do I need to do next? When you think about it, everything is just going to change. Okay? Avoidance maintains cycles. We do not want to maintain these cycles. The title of this whole theme is breaking cycles, intentionally with attention. If you want to break the cycles, don't avoid the pain. That is the one thing I want you to take away from this part of the session, the activity we are carrying out now, which is reflective, that this emotional exercise. Please don't avoid the pain. It's okay. You'll be happy at the end when you've birthed a very beautiful innovation. Okay? Now, focus requires emotional maturity. Focus requires emotional maturity. Think about it. Focus requires emotional maturity. If you are not emotionally mature, there's no way under any circumstance you're going to sit down and start aligning your words, your decisions, your actions, your character. You start making sure that are they in tune with my values. It requires immaturity. So that means if there's discomfort, it's actually confirming to you that one of the growth areas is emotional maturity. And focus requires that emotional maturity. So don't chase away the pain. Don't chase away the pain because it's revealing beautiful things about you. And at the end of the day, transformation will demand your honesty, your utmost honesty. That's what transformation will demand. Okay? So, what you avoid today becomes your cycle tomorrow. I want you to take note of that. What you avoid today will become your cycle tomorrow. Please do not avoid the pain that comes to you. That is very crucial. That is very important. Now let's go to the last part. I have very good few 25 minutes to go. I give 1 hour to this lesson. Let's look at eliminating distractions. Now, eliminating distractions. In this part of the lesson, it's going to be about action and discipline. So let's take it as an action and a discipline session. We want to learn how to eliminate distractions. Okay? Now, focus does not coexist with everything. Mhm. Focus does not coexist with everything. No. For you to be aligned, there are things that have to fall off. Focus will not coexist with misalignment. Focus will not exist with disorganization. Something must go. So when we say we need to eliminate distractions, focus will not coexist with negative behavioral patterns. No. And focus will not exist with wrong relationships, wrong influences, wrong associations. It will not, it cannot coexist. So if you find yourself not focusing, there's a leakage in, we talked about leakage in focus yesterday. You can follow my YouTube class yesterday. Sorry, it's actually on the platform. We talked about a leakage in when there is a leakage in your focus. Okay, so sometimes you need to eliminate some of these things. It is not a loss. It's actually going to get you back in alignment. And it requires alignment. Focus requires alignment. Why is elimination necessary? You cannot focus while entertaining every demand. Remember, we've just talked about urgency. You cannot focus if you entertain every demand that comes to you. This wants this wants your attention, this wants your attention. Some of the things that want your attention are actually a detour from where you are headed. So elimination is not loss. Elimination actually gets you back to the drawing board. So what is it that you need to eliminate? Those distractions, what are they competing for? The three areas that distractions compete for is time, your energy, and your attention. Every time you do not pay attention to what is interfering with your time, what is trying to pull on your energy, when you are experiencing negative energy from an environment, from situations, from people, there's a difference between discomfort and negative energy. That discomfort, which we described as slight pain, is something totally different from negative energy. Negative energy aims at dimming your light. Negative energy aims at silencing you. Negative energy aims at detouring you from what you are actually supposed to be doing. Your assignment, your calling, for example. So pay attention to these distractions because they are competing for your time, they are competing for your energy, and they are competing for your attention. Better to focus on what the discomfort, what are the growth areas that are triggering this discomfort. When you focus on that, then you'll actually even pay more attention to, okay, what do I need to do? What is the strategy? What do I need to do here and there? Eliminate anything that is competing for your time, your energy, and your attention. That does not add value to you, that does not serve you, that does not move you to the next level. Because focus requires authority over access. Now, what counts as a distraction? Distractions are not just bad habits. Mhm. They are anything that pulls you away from direction, dilutes commitment, fragments attention. Anything that fragments attention, dilutes your commitment, pulls you away from your direction. Hmm? Anything that pulls you away from your direction, anything that dilutes your commitment, anything that fragments your attention is what we call destruction. Is what we count as distractions. They are not just bad habits. No. So pay attention to what pulls you away. You are aligned, you're moving on forward, you have a direction, it's very clear, you have a vision. God has given you the direction that you're supposed to take, the activities you're supposed to carry out, and something is pulling you away. You are committed to this, that, and that, and that, and something is wants to infiltrate, manipulate, defile, contaminate that commitment. That is destruction. You are paying attention to something, and anything that fragments that attention is a distraction. I need you to reflect. What is it in your life? How do you, you're welcome, you're welcome. Alan, good to see you. How do you eliminate without feeling guilty? How do you eliminate? Because elimination is not punishment. It's not punishment. How do you eliminate some of these distractions without feeling guilty? When you eliminate, why it's not a loss? It's you need to steward your attention to what is important. For example, when you have boundaries, that these are areas I'm not going to cross, these are areas I'm not going to allow anybody to cross, because then I'm going to be breaking the hedge that I am building. Boundaries are one of the things that you need to apply that protect your focus. So don't feel like, okay, I am eliminating these people. I don't think this is a very good thing, especially when you know that they are competing for your time, they are competing for your energy, they are competing for your attention, and you at the end of the day, you end up doing nothing. You end up being delayed. You end up being in the same place for a long time. Meanwhile, they are moving forward. But because you allowed yourself to start paying attention to what is not serving your purpose, your calling, your assignment, you have to eliminate these distractions. I'm going to give you a practical exercise. How many minutes do I have? Okay, I have 16 minutes. Now, let me give you a practical exercise, okay? For the next 48 hours, remove one distraction. I want, first of all, name it, identify it, acknowledge this is a distraction. And I've told you, distractions are not just bad habits, okay? I've described them already for you. And this live is going to, just in case you need to repeat and go through and reflect more, you can repeat it, it's okay. So I want you to remove one distraction and say, this is the discipline that I'm going to apply as I am removing this distraction. Protect that discipline with everything that you've got, because it is what is going to enable you to remove the distraction. I don't know what it is. I don't want to describe for you what it is that you need to do, but I want you to get one distraction, remove it. You use a particular discipline to remove that distraction and protect that discipline, okay? And commit to that area. Let me give you one clue. Look at an area in your life where you have lost authority and power. You used to be a very good speaker. You used to be so energetic. You used to have a lot of favor in this area. So many people used to call you for these gigs, this and that and that. I want you to look at any area in your life where you have lost authority. What is that area where you have lost authority and power? How do you take it back? Purpose to remove the distraction, get a discipline that you're going to use, and please protect that discipline and focus on that area for at least 48 hours. 48 hours. Focus on that area. Okay? Don't one thing I should tell you is that you don't eliminate distractions because they are bad. You eliminate them because focus is valuable now to you. And we're going into 2026. Usually we make our resolutions, we sit down, I want to do this, I want to do this. Now, if you want to focus next year, 2026, you have to remove some of these distractions. You have to eliminate them. Do it for you. Because everybody else will leave you hanging like this on a thread. And they'll walk away. People like you when you have. People like you when things are going on so well. Make any mistake, you will see. Make any slight mistake and things have been going on well for you. There shall be celebration in your enemy's camp. I'm telling you, this is how life is, unfortunately, especially when you are a chosen child of God and you have very beautiful traits and you are very, like, there are some areas where people look at you and like, how did you do that? This is not natural. This is not, that's what differentiates you. You have so many very beautiful traits. You have to protect them. You're different. You have to accept it, take it or leave it. This is you. So eliminate anything that is a distraction as you go into the new year. We eliminate the distractions because focus is valuable, not because the distractions, some of the distractions are not bad. Some of the distractions actually tickle you to know, am I really paying attention? Okay, then it's a distraction. It helps you to check on you. The enemy has to check on you. Okay? So what are we taking away from this particular part of the whole lesson? Focus will require boundaries. So if you do not have boundaries, I have a book, by the way, it's called Boundaries with Integrity. Okay, just in case you would like to purchase it, you can go into my inbox. My email is on the platform. Yeah, it's an ebook. It comes with an audio, and it also comes with a workbook. So you can inbox me just in case you would like. It's sort of real experiences, and there are lots of lessons that we learn along the way. Okay, so focus requires boundaries. That I want you to go away with that. If you don't have boundaries, start setting the boundaries. Maybe let me first give you the first boundary. Learn to say no. That's the first boundary you should write down. Learn to say no. Just learn to say no. You have to learn. Sometimes we don't know how to say no. And we end up falling in traps that we never would have fallen into. Elimination restores power. When you eliminate what doesn't serve you, you take back your power. So all these areas where we have lost power, all these areas where we've lost our authority, it's because we have entertained everything. And I've told you, focus does not coexist with everything. So there are things you need to eliminate for you to be able to move forward, for you to be able to restore your power in an area, for you to be able to have authority in a particular area. So all those areas where you have lost ground, where you have lost authority, where you have lost power, start thinking about what do I need to eliminate and start the exercise. As simple as that, you'll start building momentum Slowly by slowly, step by step. This is transformation. And I said from the beginning of these lessons, I have been telling you, transformation is not a one day thing. If you're here for, it's not going to work. No, transformation is a process. It takes time. You come from one place to the other as you grow. Discomfort comes, resistance comes, misalignment comes, then you align again, then basically until you get where you are going. And it's life, live it. Live it. But you'd rather live it with small steps, one step at a time, and enjoying your time rather than wanting to have everything at a go. You can't have that. You can't be transformed in a day. No. Live your life, be very happy, and enjoy these moments. Like I've said, pain has come. Ask yourself, this pain, there's a growth in my life, a growth area that is pain, that has triggered this pain. What is it? Now, when you start looking at things that way, you stop reacting and you start being very proactive. You start thinking about things totally differently. And when you consistently make it a point to be disciplined daily, hourly, disciplined with your time, disciplined with your energy, disciplined with your attention, trust me, you're going to achieve transformation. You are going to achieve transformation. Now, what do I want to close with? I want to close with this statement. Focus is not something that you just find. It is something you defend. It is invisible. It is intangible. So you have to defend it. And the three areas I have mentioned, and attention, energy, and what? And time. Those three areas is where your focus should be. You can't find it. You have to defend your time. You have to defend your attention. You have to defend your energy. Okay, so these sessions that we have on a daily, how many minutes do I have? 7, but I have actually finished. I'm glad I finished. Like why I'm saying I'm glad I finished is I thought I would not be able to cover this, but I've been able to cover the 3 sections that I wanted to cover in these sessions. But these sessions that we have on a daily 4 p.m. YouTube, 4 p.m. UAE time, they are part, Alan, that must be 3 p.m. at yours. So they are part of a larger journey. We have continuity programs. Keep attending these sessions. And if you feel that now I am ready to build my human blueprint, I'm ready to step into my true leadership authority, because you have to defend it, you have to take it. No one is going to hand it over to you. No, 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 no. Destiny is not something that you just walk into. So when you feel like you're ready, it's just 12 weeks. But it takes time. You have to, let's first break these cycles, keep attending these sessions. And when you feel like you're ready to step into another level, then you can join our continuity programs where we go through the rediscovery of your identity. We now start being very practical, naming what exactly do I need to focus on? How do I cultivate these innate abilities of mine, and then give them structure, systemize them very well, and then develop your model, your mentorship apprenticeship model. And let me tell you one thing that you would do if you want to make an impact. If you are impact oriented, I'm speaking to you. But if you're just let's say result oriented, you just want to make some money and that's it. I mean, that's life for you. Then I'm not speaking to you with this particular statement. If you want to leave a mark, if you want to make an impact in life, okay, this is what I'm talking about, building your human blueprint. So it's not for everybody. It's for, if you are a visionary, you're a leader, and you know it, that God has given you an assignment to impact generations, to impact so many people. You know that God has given you an assignment. You feel you're convicted that there's something in you, there's a solution that you need to birth. Now keep coming for these sessions. Let's break the cycles. Let's start paying attention to the things that we have not been paying attention to. Remember, we build inwardly before we start building outside. Okay? We build inwardly and then we start building outside. We build our businesses, we build in our workplaces. We first build us. The foundation has to be firmly rooted on a rock. Then we go outside. Otherwise, if we build from a point of an identity that is wounded, fragmented, that is exactly what you're going to have on the outside. Whatever you're going to build is going to have wounds, it's going to be fragmented because the decisions, the actions, the choices that you're making are based on this unhealed trauma, all these little things. And because I have a few minutes, there's so many people that you could make reference to in the Bible who had identity issues, hmm, that probably they didn't deal with, and they caught up with them as kings, like King Saul, all those kings, most of them in the Old Testament, they had identity issues that they did not deal with. And they were exposed because if you're a public figure, definitely, even your flaws are going to come out in the public. I mean, let's not go even far back to the Bible. Let's look at the leaders here. Not even leaders. When I say leaders, there are very many spheres of leadership. It could be in media, it could be in religion, it could be in education, it could be in commerce. Now let's look at the media part or the entertainment industry. There are moguls who have been there, and you fall from grace to grass. Most of the time, it is identity issues. You did not first build inwardly, and then it caught up with you at the end of the road. I won't mention names, but think about it. If you want to leave a mark, first build yourself inwardly, go out there and build. And that's how you're going to make a difference. So, Alan, allow me to take this opportunity to thank you. Uh, when I started this, speaking on camera, my goodness, we spent a whole day without doing anything. Alan, myself, and my husband. I didn't say a word, I didn't do anything. I couldn't speak. I could speak, and then when I come to the camera, I would freeze. But Alan gave me a smooth landing. He told me, try. It's the way he handled me. And after some time, I learned. So thank you, Alan. Here I am speaking. I speak to people every single day. I have 3 sessions a day, and thanks to you. So you see, we feed each other. Every time we grow or we step into our leadership authority, we do not know how we're going to affect another person. So, Alan, thanks to you, I'm here and I can speak to the camera or to people. Yeah. And I no longer freeze and all. So, this is just something that he did, and you can't even name it. But each and every one of us has that strand that differentiates us from everybody else. So, what is it that we need to nurture, that we need to systemize, structure, and let it make and be of impact to another person, and let it actually even produce streams of income for you? Okay, thank you guys. Thank you so much. Have a very beautiful day. Christmas is around the corner, but some of us are still going to be doing what we do every single day. So if you are, I don't know if I'll be here at 4 p.m. tomorrow, but just in case, see you then or on 26th. Okay, have yourself a very beautiful day. Thank you so much for coming here. Bye bye.